Anyway, good morning. Isn't it another beautiful day in paradise? Yes, I was shipwrecked here in 1953, and I've been here ever since, a little over 50 years. Love it. Well, I was supposed to be going around the world with 4 other guys on a yacht. We'd come from Tampa, Florida. I had been a newspaper reporter in Tampa. I met these 4 fellows who had a yacht and they were going to sail around the world. I thought that every young writer should sail around the world, at least once. So I was 22 and too green to burn, so I quit my job and went with them. We cracked up the boat on the reef out here in front of this obscure place called British Honduras in those days. And I stayed. I loved it. Well, I couldn't swim, so I couldn't go back to Florida. So
now, is the boat still out there on the reef somewhere?
No. We got it off and put a new bottom in it, but it wouldn't steer very well, so I decided to stay.
Did your other friends stay?
No, they went back, and one of them is dead now. I hear from the others from time to time. It's been just great. I wouldn't live anywhere else. I'm sure I've had a better life here than I would have in Florida. You wouldn't believe I got a job as public relations director for the Jesuits. 22 years old and a PR man for the Jesuits. They had and still have a big boys high school here in Belize City, and they had schools in every district, town, and village, and so on. I spent 2 years learning all about the colony of British Honduras. And then I decided to strike out on my own, and I became the first tour guide in Belize ever. I opened King's Tours in the lobby of the Fort George Hotel, now the Radisson, but it's been just great. I've had a wonderful time. It was like deja vu when I walked down the streets in Belize in those first weeks, and I thought, well, this is strange because it seems that I've been here before, and these people all seem familiar to me. But I've never been, 22 years old, I've never been out of Florida. I couldn't have been. If I believed in reincarnation, I believe that I must have lived here before, but I don't believe in reincarnation, so there's something, definitely
kind of connection.
Grabbed me and held me, and I love Belize, and Belize loves me, so I am married a Belize girl from San Pedro, Ambergris Key, but 5 years after I got here, yeah, we've had 2 sons. I've done insurance and real estate, and brought the first movie to Belize, The Dogs of War, back in '80. But even before that, in '58, I brought the Mennonites to Belize, 2,000 of them, to start a revolution in agriculture in this country. Well, I was secretary of the Chamber of Commerce, and one day I was coming back to my office from lunch, and there were 7 strange-looking people standing out in the street in front of my overalls, straw hats, clodhopper shoes, boots on, and the strangest looking people in British Honduras I could imagine. Well, they came in and they told me they were Mennonites. I didn't know what that was, and they said they spoke German. I couldn't speak German. They said they spoke Spanish. I said, well, I can't speak Spanish, but fortunately they could speak English, so we got along well. They said that they wanted to come to Belize with all their families and so on and farm. And I thought that was wonderful. We had talked about agriculture for 150 years in this place, and nobody had ever done very much about it. Tremendous contribution to this country. When they came here, we were importing half a shipload of frozen chickens every 2 weeks. The Mennonites put in chickens, and we've got chickens coming out the ears now, chickens and turkeys. They've gotten into every conceivable thing. And now they're building roads and buildings. You can get them to build you a house. They do all kinds of things. They're spreading out all over the place, and they are most welcome. Nobody is mad with the Mennonites. We're mad for the Mennonites, if you know what I mean.
Right.
Let me tell you, we have 6 races of people who among them speak 8 languages. But we don't have any racial discrimination. We don't have any religious intolerance. And we don't have any political violence. Now, what kind of a country can say that except Belize? I'm not sure there's any that...
It's not.
Perhaps not. But I've always said Belize is a remarkable place. For instance, we got our first constitution in 1765. The United States didn't get one until 1791, but never mind. 1765, we got our first constitution. They held a constitutional convention, as it were. They didn't call it that. Out at St. George's Key. Well, God knows how many people were there, but 85 people signed the Constitution, including 2 women. Now, if you can imagine 1765 and allowing women to come to a political meeting, and oh, it's remarkable. But then Belize is a remarkable place, and we've had women in government circles for years. The British influence has always permeated Belize from the beginning, because from 1670, when the first pirates came to Belize, they were Scottish and Irish and English, Welsh, what have you, no? So that, and their ideas of having a public meeting where all free men, white or black, could go to the public meeting 4 times a year and vote and talk and discuss and propose, and also be elected one of the 7 magistrates who administered the settlement for 1 year at no pay. We could use some politicians like that now, no? But anyhow, the whole British idea of democracy and fair play, you know, that's not cricket, my boy. That permeated Belize and still does. Whereas our friends in our neighboring countries had Spanish colonialism, an entirely different idea than Belize. Belize, we have a parliamentary democracy, just like UK, like England, no, with a prime minister and a cabinet. So, but we like the United States, and we admire them, and you know, a United States ambassador asked me once in a familiarization luncheon, and said, "Tell me, Mr. King, how do you Belizeans feel about the United States?" I said, "We have a love-hate relationship with the United States, yes. We love their money, but we hate to have to work for it." He said, "What?" People tell me I should write my memoirs now. Well, I've written 14 books about Belize, and some of them about my experiences here, but I've never sat down to write a autobiography. Maybe one of these days. But my lawyer tells me it's not a good idea to write my autobiography, because you write your autobiography, you die. And if you die, you're not around to enjoy the fruits of your labor. So I'm not going to write my autobiography anytime soon.